Cheap seeds get blamed for a lot of failed gardens. But after going through 5 verified low-cost options side by side, the packets weren't the problem. The containers were. Here's the thing nobody tells you when you're broke and just want something green to grow. You don't need more seeds. You need fewer, better matched ones. Look, we get it. When money's tight, the instinct is to buy every packet under $2 and hope something sticks. But hope isn't a growing method. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly which of these 5 options is the safest first pick for a beginner container setup, and which ones you should walk right past, no matter how cheap they look. We're not here to sell you on gardening as some magical stress reliever. Your garden should feed your life, not add another job to it. That's the whole point of this channel. We're not professors. We're not going to pretend we've never overwatered something to death, because we have, more than once. So here's the actual promise for today. We're going to rank 5 real low-cost seed options. Not by price, but by whether they'll actually survive the light, the container, and the amount of attention you're realistically going to give them. No guesswork, no guaranteed harvest talk. Just what fits and what doesn't. By the end, you'll know which one packet to start with, and why starting small is the smartest move you can make on a tight budget. Society tells us we need more land, more money, more expensive setups to grow anything worth eating. Biology tells us something completely different. Biology says we just need conditions that actually match what we're planting. That's the whole secret. Nobody puts on the seed packet. Here's why price alone tells you nothing useful. A $2 packet planted in the wrong container, under the wrong light, is worthless money. A $2 packet, matched correctly to your actual balcony, can outperform something 3 times the price, sitting in a fancier box at the garden center. The packet was never the deciding factor. The match was. So before we even say the name of a single seed, let's lock in 5 criteria, because this is the filter everything else gets run through. Cons fit. Does the root system actually have room to do its job? Or is it fighting for space in something too shallow or too small? Light fit. Is your space giving 4 hours of sun or 8? Because that difference changes which plants are even possible for you. Manageable care. Are we talking about daily attention or something that mostly takes care of itself while you're at work? Realistic timeline. Are you looking at 3 weeks to first harvest or 3 months of waiting? And last, will you actually eat or use what you grow? Because a thriving plant nobody touches is still, honestly, a failure. Let me tell you about the $60 I watched a friend burn through last year. She bought a flat of premium organic starter seedlings from a boutique nursery. $12 a pod, 5 different pods. Within 3 weeks, half of them were sitting in a container 2 sizes too small, getting maybe 2 hours of direct light on a north-facing balcony. Every single one struggled. Not because the seeds were bad, because nobody matched the plant to the space before spending a dime. Here's a data point that surprised us too. We went back through comments on this channel over the past several months, and the pattern was almost identical every time. People weren't failing because of germination rates or seed quality. They were failing because they picked a plant that needed 6 hours of sun for a windowsill that gets 2. The seed was never on trial. The setup was. So, what does this mean for the $5 sitting in your pocket right now? It means, before you pick a single packet, You already know more than most people who just spent 50. And here's the part that trips people up even after they understand all 5 criteria. They still think more criteria met automatically means a better plant. It doesn't. A plant that checks 4 boxes but fails on "will you actually use it" is still a wasted packet, even if it grows perfectly. We've seen people grow gorgeous kale nobody in the house would touch. Gorgeous. Untouched. Composted. Rejecting the wrong packets is the easy part. Picking correctly between the ones that are left, that's where almost every beginner gets it backwards. Let's start with the safest option on this list. Loose leaf lettuce. Not the tight, cabbage-style head lettuce. The loose, ruffled kind that just keeps producing leaf after leaf. Here's the one condition that actually matters. A 6 to 8 inch pot and 4 to 6 hours of part sun. That's it. It doesn't need blazing full sun all day, which makes it forgiving if your balcony only gets morning light or afternoon shade from a neighboring field front. The one mistake that kills this plant faster than anything else: overwatering. People assume more water automatically means more growth. With lettuce, more water just means root rot and a mushy, collapsed mess within about a week. Water it when the top inch of soil is actually dry. Not on a schedule. Not because it's Tuesday, 30 to 40 days, and you're already cutting outer leaves for a salad while the center keeps producing. That's one of the fastest wins on this entire list. And honestly, the reason we'd hand this packet to a total beginner first. Second option, radish. If lettuce is the safe pick, radish is the impatient pick. 25 to 30 days. Sometimes less depending on your climate. The condition here is different. It needs a deeper pot, at least 8 inches, because the actual root is pushing down into the soil, not just spreading leaves across the surface. Part sun works fine here too. The mistake almost everyone makes: sowing the seeds too close together. Radishes crowded in the soil, compete for space underground, and you end up with skinny, twisted, mostly useless roots instead of the round bulb you're actually after. Thin the seedlings out early, even when it feels wasteful to pull perfectly healthy-looking sprouts. There's a channel we've followed since 2023. Small, maybe 8,000 subscribers, and the one video of theirs that actually blew up wasn't about some exotic vegetable. It was radishes in a shoebox-sized container. Sometimes the boring, fast win is exactly what people are searching for at 2 in the morning, stressed about their first garden. Third, basil. This one's a step up in effort, so we're putting it last of the easy group on purpose. 5 to 6 inch pot, but full sun this time. 6 hours minimum, not the 4 to 6 that worked for lettuce. Less light than that, and you'll get a leggy, weak plant stretching desperately toward whatever window it can find. The mistake here isn't about water or light, though. It's neglect. Basil needs you to pinch off the top growth regularly, every week or so, or it rushes straight to flowering, and the leaves turn bitter and tough. 50 to 60 days to a real first harvest. But only if you're willing to actually touch the plant every few days, instead of just watering and walking away. Here's the smaller detail most lists skip entirely. All 3 of these, lettuce, radish, and basil, can realistically share the same small balcony setup at the same time, without competing for space, because their light and water needs don't actually conflict with each other. That's not an accident. That's the whole point of picking by fit instead of by whatever looked appealing at the store. So what does this mean so far? 3 options. 3 completely different effort levels, all under $6 a packet. None of them required you to spend more money. They required you to match the plant, honestly, to how much attention you're actually going to give it, week after week. Now here's where most of these lists get it wrong. Every cheap seeds for beginners video eventually throws in tomatoes and potatoes because they're familiar and they're cheap. What they don't tell you is why those two are actually the riskiest packets on this entire list. Cherry tomato, specifically a dwarf or patio variety, not a regular vining tomato. The seed itself might cost you $2, but the container it needs? A full 5-gallon container, minimum. Full sun, 6 to 8 hours, no exceptions. And it needs a cage or stake, consistent watering. Skip a few days and you'll get blossom end rot, which looks exactly like it sounds. Here's the mistake that wrecks almost every beginner's tomato attempt. They buy a regular tomato variety instead of a dwarf one, plant it in whatever small pot they had lying around, and wonder why the plant looks stressed and produces almost nothing. The seed was never the problem. The setup was completely mismatched from day one. Potato is even more demanding. A seed potato, not a seed packet. An actual chunk of potato with an eye on it. Needs a 10-gallon grow bag at minimum, and something called hilling, where you keep mounding soil up around the stem as it grows. Skip that step, and the potatoes that do form push up toward the light, turn green, and become genuinely unsafe to eat. 70 to 90 days. That's over 2 months of consistent care for a plant that most beginners assume is basically foolproof because, well, potatoes seem simple. So here's the opinion we'll actually stand behind. The 2 cheapest items on this list, tomato and potato, are not beginner plants. Not because they're expensive, because they demand the most space, the most consistency, and the least room for error. That's the real trap. People walk into buying seeds assuming cheap and easy are the same thing. They're not. Sometimes the $2 packet is the hardest one on the shelf. Remember those $5 sitting next to 5 packets at the start of this? By now, you've probably already crossed 2 of them off the list. Not because they're bad seeds, but because they're not matched to a beginner's actual first attempt, final ACT. So let's bring this back down to something simple. 5 options, 5 completely different levels of effort, and the goal was never to find the single cheapest packet sitting on the shelf. Quick recap, because this actually matters more than the ranking itself. Lettuce, 6 to 8 inch pot, part sun, 30 to 40 days, the fastest and most forgiving win on this entire list. Radish, deeper pot, part sun, 25 to 30 days, just don't crowd the seeds when you sow them. Basil, full sun, more hands-on, 50 to 60 days, but only if you're willing to pinch it back regularly instead of ignoring it. And then the twist. Tomato and potato, needing 5-gallon and 10-gallon containers, full sun and months of consistent care. Cheap on the price tag. Expensive in actual effort. So here's the real takeaway, and it's not complicated. A tight budget can absolutely support a genuine first garden. But only if the seed you pick actually fits your container, your light, and how much attention you're honestly going to give it week after week, not just the first 3 days when you're excited. We had to hand you one single packet to start with today. Out of everyone we just walked through, it's lettuce. Not because it's the cheapest option on the shelf, because it's the one with the least room to get wrong and the fastest feedback loop to tell you if something's actually off with your setup. And here's something worth saying plainly, because we don't think anyone else will. If your first attempt at any of these 5 fails, that doesn't mean you're bad at this. It usually means one of those 5 criteria got skipped somewhere along the way. The light was wrong, the container was too small, or you picked something that needed more attention than your week actually allows. That's fixable. That's not a character flaw. Start with 1 packet, not 5. Document what actually happens to it, the good weeks and the ugly ones. Because that one small container will teach you more about what you're capable of growing than any top 10 cheap seeds list ever could. Before we go, tell us in the comments which one of these 5 you're actually considering starting with. We read every single one, and it genuinely helps us know what to break down next for you. And one last question, honestly. Which mistake do you think you've been making with your own tiny garden? The container, the light, or just buying more packets than you actually needed in the first place? You don't need more space. You need a food engine that actually fits the one you've got. Take back control, and we'll see you in the next build.